light begins to fade now, and I feel like I'm losing time, but I don't know how I'm here. The sunlight has turned to gray, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need. And I know now we're getting older. The world we built is slipping through our fingers. We're running out of time. But you are the one I've chosen, and I won't lay still, living left behind, imprisoned by this love. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hello, hello. I thought I'm going to join Simon today. So this is going to be really cool because this is our first time together.
Let's see. Let's see.
So let's see how it will go today. So tonight we have the press conference. So we are really, really curious about how that will go. And we will keep you posted about that. So equipment for today. We need 2 chairs or something that you can do on dips. And we need any kind of weight. Bottles with water, bottles with sand, a kettlebell, dumbbells, backpack, whatever you have. But now you have 20 seconds to grab your equipment, and then in that meantime we have to cue on the music. Here we go.
And there we go. For your warm-up, you don't need any of the equipment, you just need a little bit of space on the floor. We're going to do 3 sets, you see it on the screen, the swimmer, a pause squat, and a mountain climb. We're going to do the mountain climb, but very slow. Let's talk about the movements first. We're going to start with the swimmer. For the swimmer, you're going to lie down on your belly. The head can relax on the floor, the feet are relaxing on the floor. The only thing we're squeezing are our abs and the glutes. We're going to create tension and we're going to lift off the elbows from the floor and then make ourselves as long as we can, stretch the arms up and high and bring the elbows back down. That's the swimmer. We're going to do 5 very slow repetitions. After the 5 slow swimmers, we're going to go into 5 pause squats. So we're going to come back up. Feet go into a squatting position, so just under the shoulders, toes are pointing out slightly. We're going to sit down into the bottom of a squat, whatever the bottom of your squat is. Hold for 3 seconds and stand back up. After 5 pause squats, we're going to go into 10 mountain climbers. So we're going to come into a plank position, meaning we're going to tuck the hip in, and from here we're going to bring the elbow towards the knee. You can do that very slow in the beginning, so it's basically a one-legged plank for 10 repetitions. Once you're getting warm, start speeding it up. We're going to do 3 rounds of this without the clock to get the shoulders warm and the hips for the rest of the workout.
Yes, and I'm going to try to guys. And let's start with swimmers.
Exactly. Head can relax, feet relax, and then we're squeezing the glutes, we're squeezing the abs, and then the movement is coming only from the shoulders. Think about your hands reaching up as high as you can and back down. Just saw the comment of Bob. Let's see if we can come up with more different sport variations, swimming, climbing, maybe some others for the next couple warm-ups. From here into a pause squat, feet under the shoulders. We're going to sit down, bottom position, count to 3 and come back up. Make sure your heels stay on the floor, your chest is pointing forward. You can use your arms to balance it out. And then come back up. If the first couple reps are not as deep, that is fine. We're just trying to get the legs warm. And after 5, we're going to come into a plank position. And we're going to pull the knee towards the elbow. If initially you do this slow, that's fine. We want to maintain a good core position. After 10, we're back to the swimmer. The head relaxes on the floor, no tension on the neck. The elbows come up. And then we reach up as high as we can. Every rep, remind yourself to bring those hands as far away from the floor as you can. Really make yourself long in every single repetition. Remind yourself the head needs to relax. It's very easy to lift the head off as well. The head is relaxing, the neck is relaxing, the shoulders are doing the work. From here, basically a burpee into the squats, feet are under the shoulders. We sit down, hands go forward, count to 3 and stand back up. The heels stay on the floor, the knees are just above the toe. Beautiful air squats here. And then into the mountain climbers. You'll see that plank position, the hip is tucked in and it stays tucked in. The shoulders are pressing the floor away for 10 repetitions. And then we're back to the swimmer already. Last round, round 3 of 3. The head is relaxing, the elbows are coming up, and then make yourself long. Very slow. The swimmer is not a race. We're trying to move very slow and controlled. Really feel how your shoulders are moving if something is blocking. And then from there, a half burpee, back into the squat position for the last 5 pause squats. You can play around with your depth, see if you can come a little bit lower now with every rep and get that hip to open up. And then the last 10 mountain climbers. Good. Do we feel warm-ish? Not fully warm.
Not fully,
but
but
we're getting there.
good to go.
Good to go. Good. We're going to practice, we're going to show and then practice the movements for the strength part, and then we'll go into it. So you have a little bit more time to warm up. We have 4 movements coming up. We have 2 pressing variations and 2 squat variations. Let's talk about the pressing variations first. We have a strict press, so an overhead press and a dip. The strict press you can do with any sort of weight you find. You can use dumbbells, kettlebells, wall balls, a backpack, a barbell if you have. For everything, the rules are the same. The feet are going to be underneath the hip, the knees and hip are in one line, the elbow is underneath the weight, and from here we're going to press straight up. We're not going to look at the weight, we're going to look straight forward or down, and we're going to press up and down. What you see, because we're not looking up, there's no arching in the back, the chest stays pointing forward for each repetition, and relax. Thank you. That's the one pressing variation. The other pressing variation is in between chair dips. You need 2 chairs for the simple reason that we start between the chairs. If you only have one, you have to stand in front. We don't want that. We want to start between the chair. Your elbows are going to be locked out and right on top of the hand. The hip is right next to the hand. From here, we're going to bring the chest down towards the floor, bending the elbow, and press back up. What you see in that bottom position of the dip, the elbow is right above the hand. The elbow is not flaring out. Thank you. The elbow is not coming out, it's not going in, it's right above the hand. If you want to make this heavier, you can lift one leg off the floor or maybe even both legs off the floor. If you want to make it easier, pull the feet a little bit closer to the center. That makes it easier. Very good, thank you. One thing, we don't want to go too low, so if you start feeling a big stretch on the front of the shoulder, then turn around. We're not trying to stretch, we're trying to press. Those are your pressing variations, and then we have the squatting variations. We can do them with any sort of weight, maybe use a different weight. We're going to do a slow tempo squat, meaning we're going to hold the weight depending on what it is, either in a goblet position or in a front rack. Here's a goblet, elbows under the weight, feet under the shoulders, and then we're going to squat down slow and come back up slow. You can take 3 seconds on the way down, so 1, 2, 3, and 3 seconds on the way up. That's your slow tempo squat. Doesn't need to be heavy because we're moving so slow for 40 seconds. It's gonna burn quite a bit. And the last squat variation we have is the Cossack squat. We're gonna try it with weight right away.
Yeah.
Perfect. A little bit lighter. The Cossack squat takes a little bit of time to figure out where your hands, where your feet want to be. Do we do Cossack? Yes? Good. Then the feet are not going to be under the shoulder. The feet are going to go significantly wider. How wide is something you need to figure out for yourself. The toes are still pointing out. From here, we're going to keep the left leg in this example completely straight and bend the right knee and aim towards the toe. What you see now is one leg is completely straight, the other leg is doing all the work, and press back up. There are 2 variations. The one is leaving the ankle completely flat on the floor. So if we're looking at the right ankle now, it's going to stay completely on the floor if you squat to the left. That foot is not moving anywhere. That is hard for ankle mobility. So what you can do is simply point the toes up, and then that gets a little bit easier. On the foot that is squatting, the heel stays on the floor. We're not squatting on the toes, the heel is always on the floor. You can do this with body weight, or with just body weight. Because it's 40 seconds, it will get quite heavy.
Yes.
Good. Hopefully, in the meantime, you have tried the movement as well, and then we should be good to go. Do you feel ready now?
I do.
Yes, a few reps of everything, seeing how everything feels. We're going to be working for 40 seconds and then rest for 20, but because we're alternating between pressing and squatting, you have basically a minute rest before you go into the next variation. We good?
Yes.
Then let's get this going. We're going to change the implement here every round to make it easier to follow along. First, 40 seconds of strict presses in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Elbows are under the weight, and we'll try to move for the full 40 seconds, meaning we don't need to be too fast. If you're going too fast in the beginning, it's going to get very hard to keep it going. We don't need heavy weight. The light weight is going to do the work for us, just because we don't stop moving. But of course, this is only the first round of 3, so if you already feel you're going close to failure, take a breather, take a rest. Last 5 seconds. In 3, 2, 1, and rest. From here, we're going to go into the slow tempo squat. Going to stick to the dumbbells? Yes?
Yes, for now, yeah.
Then, with the dumbbell, if you have one dumbbell, you can hold it in a goblet position. If you have two dumbbells, front rack. Dumbbell is in front of you, and we're doing slow squats for 40 seconds in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Sit down slow, keep looking forward, don't allow the chest to collapse, and stand back up. 3 seconds down, and 3 seconds up. Very good. Try to match your breathing with the movement. If you need to breathe, breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up. If you can, hold your breath on the way down and breathe out on the way up. Last 10 seconds, so 2 more reps. And then it's already time to rest. We're moving to the chair dips. 2 chairs, we're going to start in between. The feet are on the floor, the hands are at the edge of the chair. We're going to bring the hip right between the hands, and from there, by bending the elbow, we're going to bring the chest down in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. You can see here the elbow stays exactly over the hand, the legs are out in front, the chest is pointing down slightly, and we're moving slow and controlled. Those things get very heavy very quickly. It's a lot of triceps and chest. If you need to take a rest or make it easier, move the feet a bit closer in and bend the knees. If you want to make it heavier, lift one leg off the floor. But I think for 40 seconds this is just right, so we can keep moving for the full round. Last 5 seconds. In 3, 2, 1, and rest. Very good. On to the Cossack Squats. If you can use some weight, that might make it easier mobility wise, but of course harder for the strength. The feet go wide, so wide that when we're squatting, the heel on the squatting leg can stay on the floor and the other leg can stay completely straight. 40 seconds, here we go. Bending one knee, aim over the toe. Make sure your heel stays on the floor on the squatting leg. The other leg, if you want to point the toes up, point them up. If you have the ankle mobility to leave it flat, you can also leave the ankle flat. Try to keep moving for the full 40 seconds. Of course, you can take a small breather at the top, but then go immediately into the next rep. Keep the chest pointing forward, don't allow it to point down, don't collapse. And then we're done in 5. In 3, 2, 1, and rest. That is round number 1. We're going to switch here to another implement, to the wall ball, because we can do the exact same thing also with different objects. Strict presses. If you're working with one object only, like a wall ball or maybe a sandbag, something like this, we want to focus on pressing together. So we're not underneath, we want to squeeze together and press back up. Squeezing together activates the pecs a bit more, gives you a better position for the shoulder. If your mobility isn't as great in the overhead position, don't worry, you don't need to lock out and press through. You see Steph here with great mobility actually able to push the head through the window. If your mobility is not there, don't force it. Focus on tension and squeezing the weight together as we go along. If you're working with 2 single objects, it's a bit easier to come into a good position. And then we're resting in 3, 2, 1, and relax. On to the squats. We can do those also with the wall ball. We're going to keep the wall ball in a front rack position. Same thing goes, we want to squeeze it together. We don't want to hold it too much. We really want to squeeze and activate the pecs. In 3, 2, 1, and let's go. 3 seconds on the way down and 3 seconds on the way up. Of course, the heavier the object, the heavier the movement gets. Match your breathing with the movement, and makes it easier to control the tension on the core. And then we're already in the last 10 seconds. Time is flying here. In 3, 2, 1. And relax. Good. We're on to the chair dips again. Depending on how the last round went, either start heavier or start lighter. If you couldn't move for the full 40 seconds, move a little bit lighter. You can make it lighter by pulling your feet closer. That gives you more support. In 2, 1, there we go. If they were too light, raise one leg off the floor, or maybe even both legs off the floor. That makes it a little bit harder. Find a variation that allows you to move for 40 seconds. If you can do only 1 or 2 reps and then you have to rest, it's not what we're looking for today. We're looking for time under tension. So we really want to keep moving and feel exactly which muscle is doing the work. In 5, in 3, 2, 1. And relax, and then we're on to the Cossack Squats again. You make this look very easy.
Yeah, but my arms are like...
They're getting shaky. Yeah. Good. In 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Still very pretty here. The Cossack Squats, they are very tough mobility-wise, but they're also great to build mobility. So if you're struggling, don't despair. They are very tough in the beginning. Make sure on the squatting leg, the foot is full on the floor. We're not coming onto the toes. When you feel you're coming on the toes, turn back up, turn around. So we can keep the foot on the floor and the knee right above the toe. That's where the knee wants to be. 10 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. And that's round 2 of 3. We've got one more round to go. Switching object here again. Are you going to 2-arm or 1-arm press? 1 arm? Very good. So if you have a kettlebell, depending on how heavy or light it is, here we have a light kettlebell, so we're going to go with a 1-arm press. The kettlebell is going to come into a front rack position. The elbow is underneath the weight, and from here we're going to press straight up, keeping the elbow right underneath the handle. When we're pressing with the kettlebell, we want to make sure the wrist is straight, so we're not breaking at the wrist. Steph is doing very well here. The wrist is completely locked out. We are 20 seconds in, so if you want to switch arm, that's your moment to switch arm, and then keep pressing on the other side. You might notice a big difference left or right. That's kind of normal, especially with a kettlebell, it's a bit more unstable. So I'm guessing the right feels a bit easier, for most people at least. In 3, 2, 1, and rest. On to the slow tempo squat. With a kettlebell, you have a few options. You can either hold it in the same front rack position or in a goblet. Both options are fine. Steph is going for the goblet here. And then we're going to take 3 seconds on the way down, 3 on the way up, in 2, 1, and let's go. Keeping the chest up, don't allow the elbows to collapse down. Keep the chest pointing forward, keep looking forward. And take your sweet time on the way down. Halfway through this round. Last time that we're squatting, so don't stop. Enjoy the little bit of burning in the legs. 10 seconds. In 3, 2, 1, and relax. Last round on the chair dips. Same thing goes. If last round you couldn't move for the full 40 seconds, please make it a bit lighter. We're looking for 40 seconds of work. You shake it out. And then we're gonna go the last 40 seconds in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Keeping the elbow right above the hand, don't let it flare out, the hip between the hands. That reduces the stress on the shoulder joint here. If you're coming too far forward, it's a too big stretch on the shoulder. And then we have to fight for the last 20 seconds. Things are getting shaky. Every rep is getting heavy now. That's fine. It's the last press of today. 10 seconds. In 3, 2, 1. And last round of Cossack Squats. And after this, I think we'll warm. Yes, I think we're slowly getting ready for our little finisher here. 10 seconds, and then we go into the Cossack Squat. I'm going to see a variation without weight here, also perfectly fine. Allows you to use your hands to balance out a little bit, so you can bring your hands forward just like in a squat. Allows you to move a little bit smoother maybe, because you can use your hands to balance. You can see the heel is on the floor throughout the entire movement, the knees tracking right on top of the toe, so that's the position where we want to have our knees. Last 10 seconds. In 3, 2, 1, and relax. Whew. How was that?
Well, my legs are okay, my arms are like,
Yeah.
but that's okay. I hope you guys also have the same feeling as I do.
That very much depends on how heavy you go as well, but just because
for
40
sure.
seconds is very long, doesn't matter even with a light weight, right?
It was an 8 kilo kettlebell and 2 4 kilo dumbbells, and the wall ball is actually only 4 kilos. So can you imagine that only with light weights it can be still heavy?
We just need a lot of repetitions and time on the tension.
Yes, correct.
So we're gonna go and move on. Up until now it was a lot of burning sensation, I would say, but not a lot of breathing. So we're gonna change that now. We're gonna go into a 7-minute AMRAP. 7 minutes is a perfect time because, well, it's actually a terrible time frame. 4 minutes would be nice, 7 minutes is just terrible because the first 3 are kind of easy and the last 4 get really, really hard. So, what we're going to do, 7-minute AMRAP, 7 thrusters, 7 burpee over the object. So whatever you're using for the thrusters, that's what you're going to do, your burpees over. We're going to show a few variations. If you have one object, maybe one dumbbell or one kettlebell, it's going to look as follows. You're going to bring the dumbbell, kettlebell into a front rack position. So we're going to go goblet, we can go goblet. So 2 hands, then the feet are going to be under the shoulders. We're going to squat down just like in the strength part, but now on the way up, we're going to explode and drive the weight overhead. It is one fluid movement, so we want to really use our legs to press overhead. Thank you. What we don't want to do is a squat and a strict press. We've done squats and strict presses. What we're looking for is something explosive. So we want to use our legs to accelerate the weight up. Same thing goes with a dumbbell. If you're having only one dumbbell at hand, we're going to do a one-arm thruster. Same thing goes, we're going to sit down and then stand up and explode. You want to think about driving your heel into the floor as you're standing up. That allows you to accelerate up and relax. Same thing goes with breathing. Don't breathe out on the way down, that's going to force you to collapse. If you breathe out on the way up and in on the way down. Yes. After 7 reps, you're going to put the object on the floor and we're going to do 7 burpees over the object. Of course, the higher the object, the more fun it gets. We're going to do either a half burpee, so just coming into a plank position, come up and then jump over the object, or we're going to do a full burpee, meaning chest comes down to the floor, stand up and jump over the object. 7 reps is not a lot, so you don't really want to rest within that set. You want to rest maybe quickly between the movements, so you get a small chance to breathe. But once you start your thrusters, do all 7. Once you start your burpees, do all 7. I think that's the best way to go. How many rounds do you think you can squeeze into 7 minutes?
That's a tricky question.
It is.
5 rounds?
5 rounds. I think you can get like 7 burpees.
You can do more, but I'm just going to put it on safe, you know?
Yes. I think realistically we could be ending up at 7, but 5 should be the goal for sure. 7 burpees usually take less than 30 seconds. 7 thrusters, 30 seconds. So if you don't rest too much, you're good. But secret for a 7-minute AMRAP is starting slower than you want. If you start too fast, you're going to burn out, and after 3 minutes, you're just not able to pick up that weight again. So start a little bit slower than you want, give yourself a breather in between the movements, and then once we're in the last 3 minutes, we're really starting to pick up the speed again.
Simon, I have one question.
Tell me.
I'm going to do normal burpees, so that means I'm going to lay down fully on the ground. Am I allowed to do it with a step?
you can also step. So basically, if you want to show me a stepping burpee, the stepping burpee was introduced to CrossFit a while ago, and it kind of allows you to step down or up. Both variations are fine. So you can see stepping back with one foot and stepping up with both. Is a little bit slower, but it might allow you to move a little bit more consistent. So if you want to step, feel free to step, but in both variations, stepping or jumping, we don't want to arch as we're coming off, so keeping the core engaged throughout all movements.
Yes.
So, Steph already did now, I think, 7 thrusters and 7 burpees just in the demo. I hope at home you also did something like this. You kind of tried the movements, and then we should be ready to rock and roll. Yes?
Yes.
The music's on the way. Let's see if you can keep up with Steph. We're going to start in 10 seconds. In 5, in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Keeping the thrusters pretty, meaning using the legs to drive the kettlebell or the weight overhead, and the heels on the floor at all time. It's a pretty squat, and we're done with the first 7 thrusters here in just 15 seconds. Find the rhythm on the burpee, something that allows you to breathe, something that allows you to keep moving. Try the stepping burpee, see if that allows you to maybe relax your breathing a bit more. And because it's 7 repetitions, we're ending on the other side. So if you started on the left side of your weight, then you're ending on the right. After the 7 burpees, we're on to the 7 thrusters again. Focus on your breathing. If you're going at a high pace, after just 1 minute, your breathing's already coming up quite a bit. So make sure you breathe controlled and you match your breathing with the movement. In fact, we're 1 minute in, so that's already 1.5 rounds down. So we'll see if she started too fast or if that's still a slow pace and we can speed up later on. I would be very impressed. Good. Finding a nice rhythm here in the burpees, jumping up, jumping over the object, but then stepping down. That makes the whole movement somehow controlled. And then we're 2 rounds in, less than 2 minutes done, and right into those thrusters. Very good. You can see the squat is still as pretty as it was in the beginning. The heels are on the floor. We're squatting to good depth and then really drive out of the hole, drive the weight overhead. The thrusters are very quick. The burpees take a little bit more time. So don't waste too much time on the thrusters. Get to those burpees and find your rhythm again. Very good. I can hear the breathing slowly coming up. Very good. The first 3 minutes are kind of the easy part. Now things start to get more difficult. The breathing doesn't want to come back down again. So the last 4 minutes we're here going to be breathing heavy. The heart rate is going to stay up. But we keep the movements pretty and we stick to our plan. Don't put the weight down. You can do the 7 thrusters without resting. Really use the legs. You need your shoulders for the burpees. And once you have the thrusters done, find your rhythm on the burpees again. The step down, jump up variation is working very well here. But of course you need to find your variation. Step down, step up might be an option, or maybe step down, step up and step over the object. All those variations are fine as long as you can keep moving. We're good to go. Very good. They're already closing up round 4. You can see the hesitation coming in now. Now the last 3 minutes, we want to move fast. Your body tells you to breathe a little bit more than you want. Don't listen, pick up the weight and move fast for the last 3 minutes. It's a short workout, so we need the intensity. You can ignore the breathing and just move now. Very nice, that's it. No rest in between the movements now, going straight from the thruster into the burpees. Same rhythm still, very good. Not slowing down here at all. As we're approaching the last 2 minutes. The last 2 minutes, you can really see what you're mentally made of. Are you able to keep your pace? Or do you allow yourself to slow down and take it easy? Very good stuff. Still holding that pace of 1 round per minute, so we're actually closing up round 5 and we still have 2 minutes to go here. Quite a performance, the pace is very good. And then there we go, good. And then straight into the burpees again. Counting those burpees is very difficult. You just have to remember you need to stop on the other side where you started. Then you know you've done an uneven amount of reps. Very good work. Stephanie is finishing up round number 6 here as we're approaching the last minute. I think you'll squeeze in another round, 55 seconds to go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if you can keep up with this pace. She's showing no sign of slowing down, those 7 minutes. Nice pacing here. And then we have 35 seconds for those last 7 burpees. Finish the round. Don't allow yourself to slow down, it's just 30 seconds. You can move fast for those 30 seconds at home. Really find another gear. Push it for the last 20 seconds. And then it's just 10 seconds to go. In 5, in 3, 2, 1, and time. Nice, Steph managed to get another thruster in here. So we have a score of 7 plus 1. That is more than a round per minute. Well, just above. But that is very, very good pacing. I'm curious how many people managed to keep up with that. How was it? Lots of breathing, lots of breathing. If you have good technique on the burpees and the thrusters, it's not a lot of shoulder, it's mostly legs. If you don't have good technique, your shoulders fatigue very quickly on those thrusters. So you can see if you're moving efficient, it's a lot of breathing. If you're moving not efficient, it's probably a lot of shoulders. So being out of breath and everything else is okay,
Yeah.
you've had a very good workout.
I did. It was cool, guys. I enjoyed.
Really?
Yes,
7
I
minutes
did.
of thrusters and burpees.
I know.
I don't think
I
there's
love
a lot
all the workouts.
There's not a lot of people enjoying that combination. It's one of the most deadly combinations we have. But 7 minutes is short enough to just push through.
Yes.
Usually. Good. I'll leave the stretching up to you. I think quads might be
They're
working
burning
hard.
my glutes and my biceps actually instead of triceps.
Oh,
Yes.
maybe a little bit too much holding.
No, it was already with the strength session. Because of holding the kettlebell or the dumbbell in front of you, it tends the biceps a lot. So I feel them burning.
Good. So we have pretty much everything working today.
Yes.
So I'll leave the stretching up to you. Nice little Warmup session to finish it up. And then
Yes.
we'll close after this.
Okay, cool guys. So come on hands and knees. And from there, what we're going to do is we're going to start with some hip stretch. So that means I'm going to put my right leg to the front and I'm going to straight up the left leg and both hands are on the inside of my right foot. And from here, we're going to breathe deeply in and breathe deeply out. Again, in and out. You have to feel some stretch on the front side of your hip because this is a really good stretch. Okay, again, breathe deeply in and breathe deeply out. One more, deeply in and deeply out. From here, we're going to switch sides. So that means we're going to put the left leg to the front, both sides on the inside of the foot, and the right leg will be straight up to the back side. And then again, breathe deeply in and breathe out. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Two more. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more. In and out. Okay, good job. You can bring your leg back, and from here you can lift off your knees from the ground, and then you're gonna try to stretch hamstrings and calves. So that means I'm gonna try to bring my heels down to the ground, and I'm gonna walk my hands a little bit more forward, and I'm gonna put my head through my arms. So I feel stretch on the calves and on your hamstrings. If you don't feel any stretch, just walk your hands further away. It's not necessary that you touch the ground with the heels, as long as you feel some stretch. Okay, breathe deeply in and out. Downward dog. And go slowly out of position. So we're gonna do one more stretch, and if you need a bench, a couch, or anything that's a little bit higher to keep your hands on your elbows on, because it's too intense, then please do that. And otherwise you can put your feet, your toes to each other, and your knees gonna spread out. And from here you're gonna lean a little bit backwards. So what you're going to stretch is not only your quads, but also your ankles. And if you can lay down fully down the ground, that's also fine, but don't overdo the stretch. Deeply in with breathing through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, in and out. Three more, in and out. Two more, in and out. And the last one, in and out. And we're done. So come slowly out of position, and then you can stand up again. Or if you want, you can lay down on the ground and get the position, whatever you prefer. So good job, guys. I'm still really sweaty, but I'm always, so that's okay. I hope you enjoyed, and I enjoyed at least, so that's good. And yeah, I know.
Always a pleasure. Good. We're going to close it up with a triple clap. Stay tuned for the announcements tonight and the following days, and then we're going to be done in 1, 2, 3. Enjoy your evening.
Bye.